We're going to the village. We have an open invitation.
Io le appunté así, le veo una persona brilla, ajá, brilla de aquí por acá, ajá, lo que alumbra es no brilla, es alumbra. Y ya, yo así, ya casi me pasó el miedo, ¿sí?
Aquí están todos los padres de familia con sus escopetas, señores de la UGEL, a ver qué decisiones toman frente a esta situación que estamos pasando aquí en la comunidad de Buenavista, profesor Jorge Soplín. A ver si puedes apoyar qué es lo que debemos hacer con los estudiantes mayormente, porque estamos corriendo riesgo, tanto los estudiantes, los profesores y la comunidad en general.
They can't explain this technology that they've never seen anywhere, because he reinforced the idea that whoever these people are, these beings are, they're able to move, float through the jungle and descend into the air. And so if it is human beings, then they're in possession of technology that is, maybe black operators out there in special operations. Maybe they have some sort of jetpack technology that's different than what we see in the commercial sector, that would explain some of this, but certainly doesn't. It does not. There's no relation whatsoever to between commercial jetpack equipment that's on the market today and what's unfolding in this village. I've already established that with these guys. It's not that.
There I am. Drop myself down. Good evening, folks. Welcome to Alien Attacks on a fine, luxurious evening. It's kind of luxurious because we're back in Peru. I'd love to go to Peru. What a beautiful place. Apart from, there's some crazy shit going on with aliens and jetpacks. And we still can't figure out what's going on, but it's still very much a thing. So, yeah, let's talk about it. Terrestrial, my lad. Dave's just nipped to the loo, I think. How you doing, mate?
I'm doing good, man. It's Sunday. You got to be happy about a Sunday. We're here talking more Peru aliens. We can't get enough, huh?
Well, see, the title of the show is Peru Alien Attacks. Why is nobody talking about this? And I kind of mean that. I don't think anybody is really talking about it. Not anybody kind of in our circle. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah, like our bubble here, yeah.
Yeah, briefly we spoke about it. Even our show, I think we did 2 shows on it. We spoke about it twice. But it seems like it just like from an outsider looking in to that piece of news with those people that are talking about the whole thing that's going on in their village that they don't understand. You've got these creatures because the way they speak about them. Creatures that are in the trees, that are on the rooftops, that are flying up and down, that are hurting people. To them, it looks pretty scary. And I think it's very easy for us as content creators to just say, yeah, it's just one of those fucking crazy stories that's just amounting to nothing. It's just a nothing burger.
I mean,
I actually think this one. Go on. What are you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, what story in ufology kind of hasn't amounted to a nothing burger? You know, I mean, it's the majority of them do, and so I think that's why most people will jump on board and just say, you know, these people are saying that there's aliens and they're flying around and they're abducting and they're killing people and hurting people. It's another thing that I think people are just going to have a real hard time running with without full solid proof, like very, very good video. Plus, Ali, it's kind of coming on the heels of this, the Nazca mummies. So it's right around that time where you have this event that a lot of people think is very easily faked. And then you have this one. So they kind of just put that shadow of those two things together and say they're kind of one and the same, two fake events. And they just blow them off like everything else. You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying there, but the Nazca mummy one, that's been a long burner. You know, that's been from what, 2015, 16. We've seen those. And then all of a sudden it's just like, oh, holy shit, did they actually do that? They put them on stage and like even we've David is here.
Oh, beautiful.
Sorry guys, I had to unload a popcorn machine.
You had to what?
Yeah, well, they did this thing through my neighborhood, like ghost story tour type thing, and my wife loaned them our big popcorn machine.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and I had to go. It's really heavy.
I've seen
I gotta do this now. Yeah, it was in my living room. Yeah,
it's insane.
Yeah,
you never made us any popcorn.
You never asked. It's a legit one, like you'd get at
you just
yeah, like it's it's big. But anywho, where were we?
So I was just saying, Dave, that we get so many stories, but to actually get something that it has this it has people actually wondering what's going on. I mean, I know we've recently got the Peru alien mummies that we've spoken about, but to actually see real reaction from human beings that look distressed because they are saying that they don't know what this is, that they are scared because they think it's either the devil or I don't know if they've actually used the word aliens. This village, I've never heard anybody from the village say the word devil, but guy what's his name, Dave? Timothy Alberino. Is it
Alberino?
Alberino. Like that guy. Is very interesting. He's going to go out to that village, investigate this, and he speaks the language. So that's going to be interesting to get some boots on the ground interviews with real people. So my wife speaks fluent Spanish, and she's looking at these people in Peru talking, and she's like, that doesn't look like acting. That looks like genuine distress. And then, well, that's okay because it's the illegal miners that have distressed them. But then they brought the jetpacks into this, and we kind of laughed it off. And it went away. It just disappeared. Well, now it's back. These people are still distressed. These people still do not know what's going on. Is it still the miners after the gold with some crazy tech jetpacks?
It obviously didn't go away. It looks like it just kind of kept on going down there. Just no one was talking about it. Whatever's going on. Something is going on for them to mount armed patrols at night.
Yeah, so it's like now it's like you hear about more attacks afterwards, and then you hear about implants, and now you're hearing about, you know, crafts landing and things like that. It has progressed. And you see little bits of it here or there on Twitter. At least that's where I have for the most part. But I haven't heard like in-depth dive conversations, anything, you know, put together a show like this at all.
Yeah, I've seen stuff, but it's always from someone else saying that this is what's going on, and never anything from like the people, So that's why I'm kind of interested with the Timothy Alberino. Mr. Alberino is going to get at it going down there, because I think that's the appropriate tact, right? Go down there. Go down there, talk to the people. Yeah, he apparently owns property near there, out in the jungle. So he's like, yeah, I know exactly where this place is.
Yeah, he's probably going to be able to have the ins for sure. I mean, it is kind of weird that even if you think that this is nothing, that this is all a ploy or some kind of scam, no one really is going down there and checking it. You would still need to kind of look and see, because it just keeps progressing. And the only thing we've heard is jetpacks on miners, and that doesn't sound legitimate either. So the only explanation being bad and no one going is very odd, I have to say.
Well, this is the next thing that's going to happen. People are going to accuse Timothy of doing a grift. That is what UFO. I've already called this, and I literally, Dave, I sent you it as well, Terrestrial, but like literally it was probably not even enough time to start the show. It was about 2 hours before the show. It just popped up in my feed. I'm like, whoa, because I'm just cleaning the kitchen and looking at stuff to kind of to talk about tonight when it comes to this Peru case. I've been looking all week and nothing has popped up, and then all of a sudden, bingo, we've got a little bit of something new. But I'm calling this. I think people are going to call him out and say that he's a grifter and that he's doing this for all the wrong reasons, and it'll all go people guns blazing with this guy, when actually this guy is probably the only person that's actually bothered to do some real research and go out and visit the fucking village. Who else is doing that shit?
Not their governments.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, what is it? Guilty until proven innocent? I mean, that's typically how things have been. So, I'm willing to give anybody a shot, mainly because we still don't have anything hard evidence of most anything in this topic at all, this whole field. So we'll see what he comes back with. I mean, if he's able to get down there, I think he said he was taking like a GoPro and some kind of low profile gear. That's very cool. That way we can at least get a good feeling of these people don't know they're on film. And obviously that would be much more genuine reactions. That's one thing that kind of irritates me about a lot of documentaries and things nowadays, is like, especially the high end production, you get down there with cameras, lights, it's such an ordeal. And I just don't know if you can get as genuine of responses that you would want to, as if you can just go in kind of like Undercover Boss style. Like that'd be really, really interesting to see what he's able to capture. Yeah.
Yeah. I was listening to his equipment list. I thought it was clever. Him getting some commercially available night vision. I think he's going to take Auroras down there.
That's cool.
Those Aurora cams is, I imagine, what he'll go with. Because they're definitely funded. So that's good. Yeah, man. I feel bad. It's whatever's going down there. Like I said, it's enough that they've mounted a armed response in patrols with break action shotguns, which, damn. You're talking about fighting off flying predators, from the movies with a break action shotgun. That's huge balls. So well done to those guys. I wouldn't do that.
Do you think this is going to be big, or do you think this is just going to blow over quite quickly? But because I did feel like it was blowing over, and like we were supposed to do, I think we were supposed to do this show was it 2 weeks ago, Dave?
I think
a week ago.
Yeah.
And things came up and we said, we'll just see what happens. We'll leave the show up because I think I even said to you guys, let's just, let's see what we can find, anything leading up to this, because this was when the footage came out of them all stood round that was in that intro with the guns talking about what the hell's going on. But that's all we've had. And I've been waiting to see if something else pops up, and not much has popped up. But this is a very secluded spot. And
apparently you gotta like charter an expedition down a river to get there. Like it's an event, And again, like, what is it? I know the common one is just the military testing stuff. Well, then it's someone else's. The U.S. military just tests stuff here. It's easier to control.
Have they been able to locate kind of like at least like one or two Twitter accounts or whatever accounts that these videos and things are coming from? Have they narrowed it down so we can at least get like a general sense of that?
I'm
Does
sorry.
anybody know?
No, I don't know. I know that the American Vindicta show, he's going with Timothy Alberino. He's actually in the chat right now.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, they're going to be going. He's going with them. He's going to be filming it. That was on that clip that Ollie shared, and it was also in the intro. Yeah, so that's pretty slick, man. I look forward.
He's very welcome to join us.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be. This is something that's known and it's being ignored in the community, right? Like they know it. And they're like, everyone's writing it off. Yet these people are organizing patrols. This is still going on. It's very real for these people, right? And no one's doing anything. No one's going there. So these guys, these two dudes, they are going there. That's of all the people who do UFO research and like, I'm into the phenomenon, I'm doing research. These guys are. 100, they genuinely are. They're buying a plane ticket. They're taking equipment. They're going to go talk. And either they're going to find out that this is totally fake and nonsense, or they're going to say, hey, this is some kind of crazy phenomenon and we have it on camera or we've seen it. Because depending on, what kind of phenomenon or what, I mean, there's a reason we call it phenomenon, right? We don't know what it is, but we know from different experiments and whatnot that have taken place, like some cameras record it, some cameras don't. It's a very weird thing, if at all. So yeah, I'm pumped. I'm pumped to see what they come back with. I would love to talk to both of them or either of them. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be incredible. Yeah. I mean, you have a chance. And when you get down there, you have a chance to, like you said, it's either nothing or nothing significant at least, or it is. And it's one of the biggest stories of all time.
Yeah. And they are boots on ground, man. Like that's such a rare thing to see in this is someone's like, yeah, I'm going to go,
Dave, you don't get that in this field. As much as people want to say I am boots on ground because I get out, I do X, Y, Z. There's nobody fucking risking getting fucking malaria.
Especially this case. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's been reports of people being hurt, whether it's true or not true. Like, and not only that, did you see the picture of the guys walking around with guns? That's what's going on. And you're the outsider who doesn't know their routine. I'm sure it's going to go swimmingly, but, I believe the other gentleman from American Vindicta show was he was a Marine and I want to say border security or homeland security, some form of law enforcement. I only heard about you today, man. Don't hate on me.
Yeah, me too. But he's in the chat. And by all means, if you want to come join us, email me. I'll send you a link. It'd be actually interesting to get somebody actually speaking that knows a little bit more about it than what we do.
Definitely.
But it's this case, and we've spoken about this since the whole case dropped, and I was really willing at the time, and I think it was both you and Lee that said, no, hang about, we need to cover this, and I was like, really? It sounds like a load of nonsense, but then when you really look into this case, it's insane.
It's insane. Not just that, but like the happenings and things in the area around, and that's a couple of my friends and I, we always have this saying whenever you read something in the news and people are like, that can't be real. It's like, it's always worse than you think, right? At least, especially with politicians, it's always worse than you think. And I just kind of believe that about most of these things too. Like it's probably worse than we think, whether it's part of the phenomenon or aliens or whatever, or just hyper aggressive, dudes trying to hijack claims of mines and whatnot, whatever. I don't know. Whatever it has spurred a village of people to, again, come to an armed response in patrols. This is what they have decided to do night after night.
I just feel like it would have fizzled out by now, Ali, like kind of like you were talking about earlier. It does
Yeah.
seem very strange that it's just this slow burn. And every time it kind of leaves your mind, boom, Twitter hits you with another person, another video of a girl getting scratched or hit. And it just never seems to go away. And I guess I just don't know enough about that area to or even understand like what would be the true benefit of this. Like this is obviously something's going on. They're either pushing it or something is here. What is the true value of having this story continue? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. That's the most intriguing part.
Yeah.
You know, for like, well, it's a psyop. In what regard? It's a story no one wants to talk about and it's generally being overlooked. So we can
how's that working out?
That. Yeah. It's you know, advanced Western countries testing technology. Fucking factoid for you. They test that technology in their country so they can control the outcome, right? They don't take it to another country across all these borders, across radar airspace and control. No, they're going to do it here on their hundreds of thousands of acres that they can control, and they can shut down sky space. And they're not going to, well, they're testing cloaking technology on indigenous peoples in Peru. Like, you could just do that in Central Park in New York and notice if the homeless know you. You notice you know what I mean? Like, there's better ways to do it. American Vindicta show. Ollie said that he'll email you, so you might want to be watching for that.
Yeah. We've just got the email in, so I'm going to send the invite across.
Yeah, I'm super eager to hear this. I'm eager to check out American Vindicta's show, his channel, because it looks very interesting.
Yeah,
as well as Tim's show. I think that looks very good, and they both have. We should probably link those right later. I think.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think I found Tim's show through you and Lee.
Probably.
You guys sent me that first.
That sounds more likely.
Yeah, you guys get me onto some of this crazy shit that I'm like, really? Are we really looking at it? Yeah, we're going there. And I'm like,
I like that. That's how you classify it when you're the one with a alien addiction channel podcast show.
I like to watch all of it. I got to get all angles, man, or else I'm never going to get anywhere. So I'll entertain it as long as it doesn't seem to be, illegitimate completely.
I even double down then it just gets all the better.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's, all in, full sync. The crazier, the better. The further out there, the better. Because that's the thing. Like, if you think of like the wildest story you personally have ever encountered, how many people would believe it?
I know.
Yeah. Mr. Wrecker.
Hey. What's up, fellas?
The man himself is here. We've just literally been watching you like 2 hours before the show.
Yeah.
We found this literally 2 hours before the show. This show was going to air 2 weeks ago, and we like back when we saw the guys there with the guns talking about all this. We've spoken about this months ago, and are you boys going out there?
Oh yeah. Yeah. When this story first broke, Tim and I had talked maybe 30 minutes about it. And then we just decided, it's like, man, we need to get online. We just need to talk about it. Well, I don't like scripting anything, and neither does he. And so we just got online, had a genuine conversation about it. And, about, I don't know, about a week or so later, more events happen. And so we have a better breakdown, I guess you could say, of a show. And within 1 week of that, it goes up to 900,000 views, almost 1 million views in 1 week.
Wow.
And I'm thinking like, shit, we broke the internet. God, what did we do? And so it's interesting how much attention it garnered. Not so much from the government, but from the people. Because we never get a square answer from the government. Hell, I worked for the government for 15 years. You'll never get a straight answer out of us. And so, I'm actually part of an archaeological team called the Paleo Research Group. We do a lot of stuff here in North America, more especially within the Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas region, and we look for the remnants of the mound builders. That's the tribe of people that interacted most likely with the giants that were here in North America. And we found crazy stuff thus far. We're trying to get access to an elongated skull. It's in a state museum that we have access to go and see it, but not access to go and film it. But our team went in there and saw it. Also to include a mummy, which none of those things are supposed to exist here in America. So I do a lot of little things like this. And Tim said, hey, man, we got to go to Peru. This is getting crazy. We had some dude with his face peeled off. I think you guys have seen that video. Yep. That's wild.
Yeah.
That's
the video
video
that we can't play on YouTube.
We should
yeah. Well,
YouTube.
you know, if you go to Alberino's, if you go to his channel, it's on mine and it's on his. We talked to Clayton Morris from Redacted, and Tim was going to go on Redacted, and they wanted to show that. And when Redacted had put it in kind of like a dummy page to see if it would pass the YouTube censors, it immediately flagged it. And so we're like, well, damn, I've already made this entire long ass video. So then we had to learn how to do editing in YouTube, which sucks, by the way. And so my version is edited, it's blurred. And I said, Tim, let me run it. If I get flagged, I think I've had like 7 or 8 strikes in YouTube. So I'm like, you know, just if something happens, I'll be gone for 2 weeks again. But, you know, at least we'll know we need to edit out your stuff, because Tim's stuff's way, way higher up in the ranks than mine. So we don't want him getting flagged. Mine went through, no problems. And then Tim said, screw it, man. I'm gonna be brave, and I'm gonna put the whole thing out there. So if you go to Timothy Alberino, his channel on YouTube, you'll see the whole thing. And people debated us. Yeah, people debated us. Is it fake? Is it just some dude with, you know, makeup on? Look, I'm not there. I can't tell you yes or no, but I've had 15 years worth of seeing people either blown up, shot, dead, stabbed, crushed in car wrecks. Looks kind of real to me. If I could go there and, you know, if I could go there and stick my fingers on them, you know, I would. But there's a lot of problems there. There's no flesh on the skull. There's no other lacerations. Now, I don't know if I got the picture on me right now, but I do know what these mutilations look like, because on my little bitty farm that I live on, we actually have had ourselves a cattle mutilation. Which is interesting, to be the one guy within BFE, Texas that I live in, to be the only guy in the government, and to have a cattle mutilation in my backyard to one of our Angus steers. That's kind of unique. So I have this familiarity with it. And really, that's what kicked this all off for me. But anyways, back to this whole thing with Peru. There's been multiple stories of people having attempted abductions. We thought it might have been human trafficking. Forgive me if I start talking like a cop for a second, but we had attempted abductions, human on some sort of entity interaction. There is interactions with cartel. There is interactions with these illegal miners. They're actually, when they say miners, they're loggers. They're illegal loggers.
That makes way more sense.
Yeah, the whole mining thing, I don't know where that came from. But we are in communication with the when I say we, I mean specifically Tim, because I don't speak the lingo at all. We're in communication with the Apu, who's the chief. The chief is actually going to meet us at the port whenever we fly in and to Iquitos, and they're going to accompany us all the way up the river. Now, going up the river is an 18-hour float. So that's gonna be a long time on a boat.
Wow.
But that's going to be our base of operations. And so we'll have armed security with us. I was kind of a thing for me and Tim. We got to make sure we got armed security. And this isn't our first time in Peru together. So we know, you know, how these things work in these countries. In this area is such an impoverished area. You have riverboat pirating. You get the cartels that you have to deal with occasionally. Typically, even here in America, Well, the cartels stay out of the common man's way because they don't want to make waves. They don't want to have any problems. They just want to make their money and live. And so most likely we're not going to be bothered by that. It's the common thief that we'll have a problem with. Now I'm not the smallest guy in the world, but I'm 6.5 foot tall and 310 pounds, so they can bring it if they want. Not to mention I'll have armed security. We got these Peruvian Navy guys that are jungle commandos. So if I don't feel like doing anything, I'll sick those guys on you. But we're pretty serious about it. It's turned into a humanitarian mission. What's interesting, guys, and I haven't heard of this, and I've done these types of investigations for a while, looking into this stuff. I have yet come across anything where the people were so afraid because of what was going on that they almost refused to leave the village because of fear of other interactions or incursions to the people. The something is strained with the girls being accosted by these creatures, entities, aliens. We almost think now at this rate, looking at some of the photography that we have and eyewitness drawings from other incidents, that we may actually be dealing with insectolin. That's the tall grays that are the very violent grays that people like Tim, that's Tim's world. He's the expert in that. I just used to shoot at people for a living. But being schooled up on this, that was the ones that control the small grays and that typically run the experiments. They're the bad guys. So I don't know why they're there. And, you would think of an advanced species that could come from wherever they came from, either underneath the earth or from interdimensional or another galaxy, whatever, man. Why is it like running through the woods trying to snatch 16-year-old girls? The one girl that was first attacked, she had lacerations across her throat. Pretty bad lacerations.
She was the same girl that held the picture up, which
Yes.
I'm not convinced that when I look at that picture that is a Photoshop job on her phone, or somebody's told her to hold that image up, because we all know what that image was from. That image was from, I think, a Grand Prix where they had that they had the guy with the commercial jetpack racing across that she held up, which to me is just, it's like one of those media stunts that you just see, that you just know that they've either been forced in, they've even been said, like, listen, here's some money, hold this picture up, or somebody, I don't think it's a Photoshop job. I think somebody's just said, here, blah, 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 here's the money, hold this picture up.
Or maybe it was the best comparison that they could find to show what she was describing.
That's maybe how they tricked her into into doing that.
Well, so you guys are in contact with them down there. What are they saying?
That's not what they're saying at all. I mean, these aren't ignorant, fourth world people. They have cell phones. They know stuff. They got the internet. It's not the greatest internet. They don't have Starlink in the Amazon jungle, but they know what they saw. We're going to have comparative evidence. Tim had me get a bunch of series of photographs that we're going to be showing these guys. And then also some video evidence of actual military guys that are using the latest and greatest jetpacks. They're only about $35,000 a unit for the base unit, by the way. So I'm sure some cartel in the Amazon, has one.
Trees are valuable these days, man.
Yeah, look, the thing that you don't want to do is fly around above the Amazon rainforest, because where are you going to land? And if you have an emergency, which tree are you going to get impaled on first? So the story doesn't make sense. And we've heard so many different things. There was one story of the being 7 to 8 foot tall, gray, wearing some gray metallic like suit. And he had these red glowing discs on the bottom of his feet, and they pulsated or something, and that would make him rise meters off the ground and just fly. Never seen that, never heard about that in any other UFO investigation or interaction. So that's a new one. And the thing that's interesting about this is there's a lot of new ones that we're checking, right? There's a lot of new incidents that are not usual. the most special part of this is that and Tim is the expert on right now. He's the subject matter expert on abductions. He actually was briefing 4 or 5 of our congressmen about abductions. And so that's how serious this guy is. It's no longer, Saturday night sci-fi channel. This is in Congress now, and in the Capitol building. They're talking about this. And so the interesting thing here is that typically you don't run away from them. You don't escape them. That's not common. And so we have at least 2 or 3 different cases. If 2 or 3 different cases of attempted abductions that did not work. And then there's multiple incidents where the men were chasing this being or beings through the jungle. I think most of the time the incident happened during the hours of darkness, and then they fired upon it. And when they fired upon it, one of the incidents says that the bullets bounced off of the plating that it was wearing, and the being fell down and then stood right back up and then poof, vanished. Another one of them is that they were shooting at them and the bullets were going right through them. It may be the same incident from a different point of view, and that may be why we got that different testimony. The other one is that they were shooting at them, and this is actually very reminiscent to something that happened, I believe, in 1991 or 1993. And it actually happened with not Spetsnaz, God, KGB. It happened with the KGB in Ukraine. They fired at them, and then the being emitted some sort of a light, some sort of a white light that came from the center of the being, and it hit this man. There's 2 men that have been hit with this and 1 female. Both men described being blinded, petrified, knocked to the ground, intense pain. And then the female, and this was just a week ago, another 15, 16-year-old girl, she may still be in a state of paralysis, but she was in complete paralysis, hit, knocked down, immovable, cannot move at all.
No damage at all. I mean, it sounds very like the tall grays, and then the lights, very Phil Schneider-ish, very Dulce Wars, reminiscent of that. I mean, no actual damage, just like knocking out.
Yeah, it's I don't know how to describe it. Before my first deployment to Iraq, I remember DARPA was in Camp Wilson. I had a training ground that we had called Mojave Viper, pre-deployment training. And they were testing some sort of a microwave emitting weapon, and they had all this dumb boots, us dumb private first class and privates walk in front of this thing, and you got hit with microwaves. And I mean, it was immediately, you felt like your skin was boiling, intense headache, you wanted to throw up. Some guys crap themselves. I walked through it and immediately noped right out. I felt like my hands were immediately on fire. Immediately. So it boils the hydrogen, boils the water inside of you, right? I don't know of anything else that we have. Now, once again, we're talking about DARPA and stuff that no one else knows either. They're not just making robots flip and do, parkour. They're creating crazy stuff, but I don't think we have that. I don't think we have what these people have. Reminiscent 1991, 1993-ish. I actually have an old CIA document. It's kind of the thing I do. I collect old CIA documents and I read them. Apparently, some people like to listen to it. There was, you guys are going to love this. There was a group of Ivans. That's what we call in the military. A bunch of Russian soldiers. So a group of Ivans in Siberia. And they're patrolling on some sort of a training mission or whatever, some training op. And they have all their weapons with them. And over the horizon of the mountain pass in flies a saucer. And so this, platoon of Ivans thought that it would be a great idea to shoot an RPG at it. And they hit the damn thing. And it actually went down. The soldiers went out and they were investigating what was happening. I don't know if they had radio communications or anything else. The KGB report's really kind of short. And so supposedly from here, 5 little gray beings came out of this saucer. And the soldiers approached it. I could only imagine with their guns probably pointed at it, and they emitted a light that hit these soldiers, and I think 2 out of 23 guys were the only ones not described to be petrified, like petrified stone. That's in a KGB report. That's a declassified CIA report from, I believe, 1993. And it was enough to be added to ATIP and what ATIP was going over, collecting this data. That's all these little scenarios and events are. Really, they're data points that we follow. So ATIP followed this for a long time and just kind of collected as much stuff as possible. And there's no telling how many of these little events are out there. There's no telling how much stuff has been going on in Peru. Brazil has been inundated with this type of stuff for a long time, to the point where it's kind of weird. In Brazil and in certain parts of South America, the UFOs hunt people, hurt people, kill people. Here in America, it's like a hunt people, hurt people, abduct people, bring them back, and then, a year later, by the way, this is your humanoid alien child. So there's something very interesting that is happening here. And, this is not, I want to say it's not Skinwalker Ranch type of stuff.
Rekka, do you think this has anything to do with, I don't know if you've, I believe you probably will have seen it with the Stephen Greer that's had the whistleblower stand up and talk about the craft that he witnessed, and he was like, basically all his team were just fucked up and they just had to put their arms down. And then later on, he was on the Sean Ryan show, and he said that he believed, he got told, that what was in those containers was people being trafficked.
Yeah, there's validity to that. I believe that Marine, that was 2009. I think he was from 2.5 or 2.7 or 2.9, 2nd Marines. I was in 3rd Battalion, 3rd Marines. So when he was over there doing a humanitarian mission, I was in Ramadi, Iraq. And so to me, that gave a lot of strong, how would I say this? Not, I guess, validity to his story. Now you got Marines that are liars and you got Marines that are shitheads, but for an infantry guy to put his face out there on the line and to be harangued for lying, I mean that's a big deal in where we come from. And so and the guy looked nervous. I've interviewed, God, I don't know how many people, but when someone's nervous and tell them the truth about it. And he looked like, man, he didn't want to say everything he was saying, but had to get it out. And I commend him for it. I like the fact that he went on Sean Ryan's show. It's good to see that another brother in combat, the Navy SEAL Sean Ryan, be able to get these guys more exposure, because for the longest time, guys in our field, we see stuff like this probably more in frequency than some other people do, and don't talk about it because, for one thing, you're not allowed to talk about it. 2, if you do talk about it, now you're that guy. And that guy sits alone in the chow hall and everyone says, beware of that guy. So you don't want that stigmatism. I've known plenty of cops who sit there and say, man, I saw a UFO the other night. And you know what everyone says? All right, well, there's that guy again. Lay off the whiskey. You don't know what you don't know. But I think human trafficking is obviously something. Tim and I rolled around a very interesting topic. I don't even know if we ever brought it up on the show. Me and Tim's done several shows together about this. The possibility of having back-engineered craft. Highly likely. The government even says it, right? The possibility for highly likely back-engineered craft that are using some sort of technology to abduct people, plausible. using that to then human traffic people. Okay, now we're on to something. Because when these things start to connect, you start to get a very diabolical scheme. Are we really talking about aliens now? Or what are we talking about? Because if this craft can move in G forces, that would kill the average pilot. And you can carry cargo. What can't you do? Can you bring it to the moon? If it can survive the vacuum of space, if it can plunge into water and not disintegrate, what can't it do? And what are you doing with the people? That's a good question, but it's not getting answered. It's not getting pushed.
It's definitely an economic question too, because you think if you have that technology to push it, right, you got to do for a benefit, for a value. There's a value. If these, for whatever people or things or whatever, are trafficking in people for unknown destinations, why? What is that profit margin? What I mean by profit margin isn't so much money, but like, what dark thing do you need this for? Like, what payment is being made here? You know?
So for a long time, there's been rumors, conspiracies, books. A lot of guys that I know that are in this industry wholeheartedly believe that there's a base on Mars. Wholeheartedly believe. Like, you cannot not tell them it's not true. I can't remember the author's name. He's now passed on, but he wrote a book about the pyramids in cities that are on Mars. I think it's called Cydonia. And so the theory is, and this is a working theory that Tim and I were juxtaposing, is that, let's say there is a working base on Mars. Well, who's going to mine everything? Do you think Elon Musk is going to do it? No. We can barely have, you can barely say anything, and Siri is going to try and order something off of Amazon right now. The technology is not there to have robots digging by themselves and processing. You need people, you need labor, because it's cheap. It's been one of the cheapest forms of economy ever since the beginning of man, and it will continue to be that way until Christ returns. So I would never say that the people who rule this world and run this world are not below faking alien invasions, faking alien encounters, abducting people, organ harvesting, child sex trade, or human trafficking for human enslavement. You can bring them wherever and anywhere you want. And if we're talking about that black op part of the budget that, you know, accidentally gets lost every 10 years in the Pentagon, they're just going to tell you, prove it. Prove it. Prove it, and then you're going to have someone like me come and visit you. Then you're not going to prove it anymore. And that's provable history. I don't know how many accounts of people that I probably worked with at one point in time that would go and talk to people. You know how many times I've investigated people because they said, hey, I'm going to blow up the White House. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And you know what? One of the interesting things that people always say is, how the hell did you know I said that? Because it's on the internet. Anything you say on the internet, anything in social media has a little marker, and it's going to get fed to the NSA. And then some asshole like me that's in the middle of BFE, Texas, is going to get an email. By the way, go check out this guy. He says he's going to blow up the White House because he doesn't like, you name it, Bush, Obama, Biden, Trump. I've worked for all four of them. And so then we'll go out there and we'll read our statement. Did you on this day at this time say this stupid thing? Yes or no? Yeah. All right. Did you mean it? No. Okay. Sign right here that you're not going to do that shit again. Don't do that. And then we leave, right? Typically, that's how that works. So if we can do that, what do you think the other technology is used for? Now, I mean, like when we talk about spying, it's beyond what anyone can even conceive the possibility of spying. And I don't know what's in these craft, and I don't know what their capability is, but I know that when a very innocent balloon or series of balloons floated across our country a few months ago, that it scanned six stories, 7 stories deep, and was able to ping any iPhone or any Samsung that had its wireless capabilities or Bluetooth on, which immediately mapped out anything and everything that it was there with. So if it was a nuclear silo and you got a guy on every floor and in every corner, we know what it looks like. If China can do that, what do you think everyone else can do? I mean, like at some point, I think this is a big cabal. I think you have governments that are playing war with each other, and then you have something closer, something more intimate, something tighter that is doing something much more nefarious. And while we're so busy with Israel, or we're so busy with the American border, I worked on the American border, the Texas border. It sucks. It's terrible. But while we're so busy doing all these things and hating each other for our religions and our economic belief and political belief, there are people kidnapping people disguised as something that, hey, you know how we'll make the kids never believe it? We'll make video games about it. And we'll make Men in Black, and then we'll make, all these other movies about it, and you'll just laugh it away. And that's all part of Project Mockingbird. That's the CIA. Their whole hand in all these things. They controlled the media from the very beginning, from the 50s till now. And even then, in the church committee, I think, what was that, 74, 75, when it came out in Congress and they were talking to, I believe, the head of the CIA, the director at that time, he said, how many of your agents are in every single broadcast room? So that's classified. We'll have to go behind doors, because it was every broadcast, every paper, every magazine had an attaché, to include Hollywood, to include music. So with the things like what you guys are doing right now, you don't understand, but this is as free and clear of information that people can get. So the more you guys come out and the more you talk about it, the more you bring up this stuff, the more it gets exposed, the better prepared people can become. And so I commend you guys for, talking about this stuff. I really do appreciate it. What Tim and I are fixing to go do in Peru, we could get killed for, not just by malaria. There are a lot of people who don't want us to go and find whatever we may find or not find anything. So
I saw that you said you got an email.
Oh yeah.
Would you care to elaborate on that?
As
much as you want to.
No, yeah. Ever since I started doing podcasting, when I got out of DHS in 2021, I think. It was right after January 6th happened, and I decided I hate the government. I'm getting out. I had started down this journey and path of doing podcasting and a little bit of ministry work and stuff. And I would talk about CIA stuff, DOD stuff, paranormal stuff, because I always found it to be interesting. And then when Tim and I started to really talk about the UFO stuff, and then started to talk about the stuff going on in Peru, got an email from a dude who said he was in the Pentagon. He's then since emailed me multiple times trying to prove to me who he is and try to steer me to talk more about politics. And it's interesting because I got like 5,000 subscribers. Who am I? I'm a little bitty guppy in this big old ocean. But when you get people of certain backgrounds like mine and like Tim's, and we team up, maybe there's a hesitation from them there that we may actually take this seriously. This is going to be Ancient Aliens on History Channel. We're not going to be tourists in another country and say, hey, right over there, history marker, that's where a UFO landed. We're actually going to be doing an actual investigation. I'm going to apply every bit of my skills to help Tim. Tim's the show pony, so I'm going to be filming. I got all the equipment. We got FLIRs, we got some thermals, we got some night vision. I got a Psionics Auroras with colored night vision. Cool.
That's what I figured you were taking.
Yeah. I'll probably try and pick up a laser pointer while I'm there, like a little cheap one. The the goal is to not be the guy with the shaky, grainy cell phone footage. You know, you don't want to be that guy. And so you can't zoom in with a cell phone to see it well, but you should see what I can see through this Psionics Aurora Pro at night. Because I live pretty close to Lockheed Martin, and we see their craft floating around us all the time. Man, I can see some stuff with this camera, so it'll be cool.
That's cool, yeah.
Yeah, it's like I said, we hope to get as much physical evidence and witness testimonies as possible, and then from there, Tim will throw it all together and put out his report. I'm just there to assist him to the best of my ability, keep him safe, keep us safe, and yeah, it's just another deployment for me, so it's gonna be fun.
I take it Tim's going to be like translating this back to the camera, what the interviews that he's having with these people, like literally live. Is he going to be doing it live as it happens, or is that going to be an edit afterwards?
I don't think we really decided that. I mean, this is going to be down and dirty. This isn't a movie that we're making. It's just it's just an investigatory document, and so I'll have to know what is being said so that I can also help press with questions and make sure that we're keeping the questions on the correct path, but we don't want to give guiding questions that we know we're going to get a correct answer in. So that's part of one way we're going to be doing this. And Tim, he's the leader of this mission, so whatever I can do to assist him, this is his baby. And so I don't speak the lingo. I know habla anything that these guys are saying. I tried using my survival Spanish last time we were in Ollantaytambo Tambo, and we were in Cusco and a bunch of other places, Machu Picchu, and they don't speak Spanish. It's like an Incan language. So yeah, I'm going to be completely blindsided with what everybody says. Hopefully we'll have an interpreter, because while Tim is also doing a lot of this stuff, I'm going to be working with this village and trying to understand what their patrol paths are, trying to help them be more established in their patrolling, because the men are having to don rifles and go on patrol every night. They can't go out to their farms. They can't go fishing. That's why we have to bring food and medicine to them, because they're so terrified of what could happen at any moment in time, of people coming in there or these entities coming in there, whatever it is that we find out that they are. They're being the hostility and being accosted has them on such guard that they can't even go to their normal jobs to sustain the village. They have to be there with their rifles and pistols, and it's I've been all around the world. I've seen a lot of things. I've never seen anything like this or heard of anything like this. So this,
I would like to say, well done, man, because the last time we spoke about this, I called out to the South American channels out there that do what I do, to go out there to see it for themselves, to investigate, because we do have something going on. Regardless of what it is, there is something going on, and not one of them has got off their ass and done something. So hats off for you.
Yeah, exactly right on, Hidden. No, not one any UFO channel that's saying that this is a load of rubbish and there's nothing happening there. Well, go fucking see for yourself, because that's what these guys are doing. Because to me, and my wife from Ecuador, she speaks fluent Spanish. It's Peru's a little bit out from Ecuador, but it's still a similar kind of accent to her native tongue. Now, she said the first thing she said to me when this all hit, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And she's like, "They're not acting. That's where they are genuinely fucking scared."
And I mean, we're as channels, we're missing a great opportunity to investigate something that's going on in our time, instead of talking about Roswell and all this other stuff that's happened years. We got something going on now, and there's people there. There's Jaime, who's made a good living from covering this phenomena, and he won't get up. He won't send people down or nothing. So, man, you got my support.
Well, Wrecker,
Rock on, guys.
I mean,
Yeah, we
I echo that.
appreciate it.
Oh no, I was gonna say I echo that too. It's awesome you guys are going, but and you might not want to get into too much detail if you've thought about this before, but if you guys are to get some really, really incredible footage, is there a distribution plan in place rather than just one YouTube channel? Some way to kind of where are you gonna take this stuff, you know, before it can get possibly shut down, you know?
We have contingencies.
Well, brother, my channel will support you. So you get anything.
This one too.
Yeah,
I'm not.
Yeah, I'd post some stuff. Yeah,
I'm not looking to like make a buck off of it, but I will show it, and I will show a little bit.
Well,
just to get them to go over to you to watch what you guys are doing.
Well, it'll be all put onto Alberino's YouTube channel. So for anyone who's listening, for one thing, thank you so much for listening. Make sure that you're subscribed to Alien Addict, and check out what Tim's doing over there on the Timothy Alberino. He's got a website. He's does most of the stuff on Twitter. So if you want to follow us live while we're there, Twitter is probably the best place, because we'll be giving an update every day. We have to have a satellite phone because there's shit signal out there, so we'll never get it.
You got the Twitter link in the description box?
Just
put everything in this description.
We will.
Timothy Alberino at Twitter.
So guys in the chat, it's in the description box for me, for you, for the whole world to let's see this as it's happening. I'm interested. I'm interested. But the one thing I wanted to ask you now, you said about the face being missing from the person, yeah? Is that the footage where they're pulling the body out of the river?
Oh.
Yeah? All right.
Yeah.
I mean, I shared this information with Ollie, and I'll share it with you. That was posted on Reddit before all this happened, and it was actually stated that was found in Brazil. The body was being pulled out of Brazil. I did send Ollie the link to prove what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's and we were never really solid on where that came from. We still, even after we had discussed it, we weren't solid on whether or not it was real, but it was the pericalas, the face peelers, that everyone was talking about, and we're like, here we are, we're discussing. Tim and I, this before we ever even made the YouTube podcast over it. We were going to discuss what was happening in this village, and then lo and behold, on separate Reddit channels, we come across this. And I think some things people do just to garner attention, and they'll repost stuff.
It's awful.
So we never said that this was what it was.
They did it the same with Vegas thing. They were pulling up ring cam pictures of some alien and stuff. It peppers and it mires something that possibly is genuine by putting out these, and channels do it for money.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
I don't do it.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing that Tim and I are doing in Peru right now that's fixing to make us money. We're going there for the evidence. Like I said, we're not making a movie to sell. I mean, this is all going to be free. It's going to be on YouTube. I'll put it on my Rumble channel and on my YouTube channel. I like to preach about the word of Christ, and YouTube doesn't like that. And I don't care what YouTube says or thinks or wants. So I continue to say what I say. And so I'm just one more strike away from being finally completely banned on YouTube. So if I'm not here, I'll be on Rumble. Yeah, I mean, that's us in a nutshell. The rest of this when we come back, Tim will be doing all the editing and stuff. He's got an important trip to go to Guatemala, look at some pyramids and ziggurats down there.
It's cool.
All over North America, Central America, and South America, we have these phenomenons, and we have these paranormal encounters, and some that are still going on right now. And so, we fund ourselves, so we can't exactly just be hop and skip all around the world.
When are you planning to go to Peru? This village?
Tomorrow.
Wow.
Tomorrow evening we leave.
Yeah,
all the more happy that we got you now.
Yeah.
Before you die, you know.
Nah, he's gonna be fine.
Oh,
He's gonna be fine.
Jesus, Ali.
Yeah, I don't like planes. I don't like planes at all. When I was in the government, I flew with
Big
a
tough
gun.
guy like you. Come on now.
Nah, hey, you know what? When I was in the government, I flew with a gun on the plane, and I felt okay until you don't know who's sitting beside you. And I don't want to get too into the weeds of this, but I know another guy. He was in another agency, sat next to a person with Ebola. Never knew it.
God.
Oh yeah, yeah. When that whole Ebola scare was going on,
Yeah,
like 2016. Oh yeah,
Wow.
he was the air marshal sitting right next to him.
Yeah,
So
I've known of air marshals that were going through.
worried about
divorce
the
and their
nasty
wife was
bugs on the
taking
plane.
everything. Yeah, I worry about those too.
But guys, we're about to have a severe thunderstorm over here, and I'm starting to lose a lot of signals. So
Yeah, you
I'll
are,
go ahead
man.
and
But
sign
just
off.
quick, just really quickly before you go, you did mention the blue beam thing. Have you and Tim kind of discussed that the possibilities with you going out there that this could possibly
you say it again?
be? Have you and Tim discussed the possibilities that you two going out there that this could possibly be like one of the testing grounds for Project Bluebeam, and this poor village could be a test?
Guys, I apologize. I think my going in and out.
No worries, lad.
No worries, man. Thanks for coming on, dude.
Thank you for
we
your
would
time,
Love
yeah.
to have you again.
I
when you get
appreciate
back.
in
When you
contact
return,
with you.
come back on your return. Safe trip, my friend.
Yes.
Yeah, safe travels.
God
Okay.
be with you, brother.
See you guys. Hey, I'll send you an email when we get back.
Perfect. Thank you. Well, that was awesome.
Yeah, it was very cool.
That's the is it the Vindicator show, Dave? Yeah.
It is the
Yeah, that's the
American
one.
Vindicta show.
Vindicta show, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
We
gonna share it in
literally
the chat.
watched that. I will link it in the description after the show as well, because we didn't expect that.
I just want to know what's happened to the sex machine.
that's like crazy. That like, where's the profit in that? Where's the profit other than like the hope and a whim on making a few YouTube fucking views on that? That's boots on the ground for me. That absolutely is. That's what people.
That rings up.
That's practicing what you preach.
Yep. And that's why I'm so pissed off with the South American channels. I'm so pissed off with them. I think there's something going on right at your doorstep, and you're not going to check it out. Just covering stupid drones flying around and shit.
Yeah, I'd say the odds are probably not in their favor. So yeah, I mean it's cool that they're gonna go and take a look.
But it is.
Do you think so?
Some of these people, what do you mean by odds? Money or sorry?
No, what I mean is like if they get there, if they try to get a footage, of a tall gray or something, I mean the odds are probably not in their favor to get that. But if they do, yeah, I mean more power to them. It'd be awesome.
But people still would watch. People would still watch, and that's they're getting views. To be honest, what has been shown going on in Peru, isn't much, but they're still getting views. They're making the money by showing what's going on and trying to insinuate, saying, "Look, there's an alien standing on a shed roof." Was it? Do you remember that?
Yeah,
and everybody was saying, "Look, man, that's the bush."
The thing is with that though, Hidden, I don't think for those, I don't think there's been enough in the whole Peru case to say this is a massive money making thing.
Agreed.
And that is why it perks my interest. I was to start off with, like it was Lee. I'll say it was Lee and Dave that said, look, we need to stay on this. We need to keep looking at this. And I was like, I think this is nothing. I think this will be something or nothing. I could completely change my mind on this.
Here's my
completely.
Here's my annoying fact, though, that I'm going to say. These South American channels, they always put the name that they're ufologist. Isn't somebody that's a ufologist, don't they investigate? So investigate. How can you wear a badge and sit on your backside and look at and sell people drone footage?
Well, this is the
makes no
thing
sense.
with these guys that are doing this, which like I said today before the show, I said I'm just gonna I'm changing the intro of the show because I've just watched these guys, and it's so weird that we were going to do a show on this about 2 weeks ago, that got postponed, and we left it, and then this thing drops last night, and I just think, wow, somebody's actually doing something. Somebody's actually practicing what they preach. They're not just talking about it. They're actually going to go out there. They're going to speak to these people, and hands down, what I was going to ask them is, have they had a course? We mentioned this the first time we spoke about this, Dave. The first time we did a show about this. I don't know if it was me or it may have been Lee. It could even been you that said it. But has anybody considered that this could be a small test for Bluebeam, and these people could have been possibly scared out of their wits?
Terrible location. It's a terrible location. Doesn't make sense.
Why is it? Why is that? If it was a test?
Because if you want isolated, you can get fully isolated, right? These people are still somewhat connected, and they're being ignored. And if you're going to do something like that, the best thing to do is, in all seriousness, do it in a large area and see what shows up on social media. Because groupthink will wash it away. People will dismiss it and wash it away. It's what we do. It's what most individuals do when they come up against something they don't know. They wash it away. You get a whole bunch of people together that see something incredible. You have a bigger mass is like, no, it's a normal thing. Everybody saw a normal thing. And then they go, oh, okay. So they're seeing it, but we need it to be a little bit more dramatic. Okay. Test it on a small town somewhere. There's so many rural small towns. It wouldn't make sense to lug this thing all the way to this particular village in Peru and continue this testing. It just doesn't track. And if it was Bluebeam, they'd be making a bigger deal. Right? Like if this was the beginning launch, and if it was a test, we wouldn't hear anything.
Yeah, it seems like they'd want it to go a bit more viral than it has, right? And for as long as this has been going on, the slow burn that it is, it seems like they would have, kicked it forward a little bit, gave it an extra nudge, and introduced a new kind of catalyst to the situation to push it along. Because I could buy that at the start they maybe put it out there a little bit soft and see where it would spread, but it's not moving, and that's another reason why it sounds genuine. Like Wrecker sounded genuine to me. That they, I mean, I'm sure they know that they're walking into possibly a very giant story. I'm sure that's part of it, if we're going to be honest. But I do find that they're genuinely interested, though. He seems genuinely interested. So I mean, I can't hate that,
Yeah, they're actually going, which is awesome.
Yeah,
which is awesome.
Hats off.
Yeah, that's exactly what it takes. Whether it is something or it's not something, you got people that are going. Yeah, and now you got one of them's email, so you just need to keep up and keep in touch with him, so we can get him and hopefully Timothy back on.
I'm hoping they'll come back after the trip, and they survived the trip. but here's Dave, that trip, and you'll probably know this more than us three. That's a dangerous trip. Am I right by saying that?
Yeah. I mean, the fact that they're having to float up the river like that's not great. And he's right. There are that is somewhat cartel area. That shouldn't really be that bad. But he's also right in the estimation that, like most organized crime, if you leave it alone, it leaves you alone. You're not part of its machine, right? Like you're not the money. It's your low level, and he's 100% right in the estimation and his, thinking it through of that it's the regular people that are your problem. And it's cool that they're coming with the humanitarian pack because, again, he illustrated it perfectly. Like I was saying earlier, and he did it again, and to only reiterate, is that these people are on armed guard, right? They're cut off. They're out there. They're on armed guard. You know what it really reminds me of, and kind of what it sounds like? It appeals to my predatory nature. You isolate, you encircle, They don't know when you're watching, when you're not watching. You pick them off one at a time, keep the fear of the herd going, let them wear down slowly. And, maybe fear makes the meat taste better. I don't know. Or maybe I do. But
I mean, fear definitely is going to weaken the senses. That's for sure. No doubt about it.
Yeah. It really seems like they are encircled by some kind of predatory behavior, and they're on guard against it, and everything else is falling apart. You see, and it's funny that you see it throughout everything, really. But like, if you deal with anyone who's dealing with like a serious haunting case or something like that, one or two people end up getting picked off by whatever the phenomenon is manifesting as, and they feel crazy. They feel alone. No one's listening to them. It seems to be targeting them. In this instance, it's targeting an entire village, which is a bit bigger, but, same method.
He mentioned about the cartel will leave you alone.
Mm-hmm.
If
they're Americans, they'll leave them alone.
Yeah, but if the story's right, that it is illegal miners with jetpacks,
which story though? Because like the miner thing never made sense.
No,
when he said loggers, I was like, oh, okay, but it's exotic hardwoods, but they're not getting jetpacks, man, to scare people off. They just cut the trees down and leave. What I mean?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But
the government was on top of it.
I don't think that story's right at all. That it is miners with jetpacks. But if it is something to do with illegal mining, loggers, whatever, is there not? Then there's a risk, I'd say.
Yeah, but that's running the what if game of us running out indefinite what ifs to look for danger.
So we're banking on aliens, Dave.
Not banking on aliens. Like, let's look at it from a logical aspect, right? There's some type of predatory behavior going on. It has caused the people of the village to take up arms and protect themselves, and they are in trouble and no one's answering it. We know those things. We know they feel threatened enough to do this. They're on patrols. They're on watches. We know that. We also know that there is cartel activity in the area, and around there it should be a lot less because you're getting almost to the point where you're below the cartel line. So, illegal loggers or miners, absolutely. But then why are they trying to mess with this whole town and continue to do it for months? What is the end goal? Those jetpacks require fuel, man. Where are they getting it? Where are they getting that racing methanol? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't track. So what does track is either it is mass hallucination. Maybe some ergot got into the bread, and everyone's kind of having a Salem witch hunting moment. Maybe it is some unknown predatory behavior from large cats in the area. That's on record. The lions of Sarajevo in Africa hunted down men for sport. I mean, they made a movie about it. They stuffed them and put them in the Smithsonian. You can go see the lions that are there. And it was unusual behavior. That's not normal behavior for that creature, but it did do it. It isolated, it did a lot of these same things that we're hearing talk about, not the floating through the trees and the lights in the sky or anything, but the isolating this crew of railroad workers, picking them off one at a time, guys going sleepless at night. And they were just killing for sport until they were themselves killed. So maybe it's large cat or large predator activity, right? Maybe. But
and they were just killing them. They were just killing them for sport, not eating.
Yeah,
them.
you can look it up. The lines of
I've never heard of that story.
I don't know if it's Sarajevo. I don't know if that's right, but I don't.
Story,
think
it's a nightmare.
Yeah. They made a movie about it, The Ghost in the Darkness.
Wow.
That's what that was about.
Yeah, that really happened.
No, I never saw
the craziest parts of that movie. People were like, "Man, it's a silly movie." No, that went down. So maybe it's
Tosfo.
Yeah,
somebody wrote.
I forget. Yeah. I'd have to see it to. I'm saying Sarajevo. That's not right. That's a different.
Well, where's the evidence?
Lions of Savo. Thank you.
Where's the evidence of them logging? I mean, do they have any of that? Did you even get that kind of a thing? I mean, do we see the machines? Do we hear the machines? Do we see them cutting trees? I don't see any of that either.
Nobody's saying that. Yeah,
Yeah.
nobody's saying. I mean, that's also there's no reporters there, right?
Yeah.
But like he said, the people are saying that's not what's happening. They're saying it's not loggers, it's not miners, it's not
Right.
cartel. It is something unknown that comes from the sky and is hunting people.
And it's disrespectful to I would say to assume these
people?
people. No,
That's just sport, brother.
No,
It's
because
just sport.
people like on the internet are assuming just because these people are a bit backwards when it comes to mobile phone technology or whatever,
They're just poor.
that they don't know
Yeah.
the difference between some illegal activities and something that is just genuinely fucked up.
Yeah, they're poor. They're not stupid. They just don't
Exactly,
have,
yeah.
first world technology.
Mhm.
But so you run through that, you run through all that in your head, and what it comes down to either, again, some animal predatory behavior that they're not familiar with, or a cult. Maybe I could see a crazy ass group of people hunting down other people. I mean, that's a thing. One of these tribes from the Amazon has decided, we're just going to start taking on them, and they do it in their way, and these people don't know what's going on. But that's possible. But the thing is that what everyone
That would have
wants
to be a tribe with a jetpack.
I doubt it. One of the things everyone tries to avoid is that this is in fact some unknown interdimensional otherworldly phenomenon that is in fact doing exactly what these people say is going on. What if they're 100% accurate in their statement? Nobody says that.
Yeah, I mean, how much of the Amazon do we even really know of what's going on? I mean, that's what I wonder too. What species that live in the deep Amazon that we don't even know? I mean, look at our oceans. Look at the wild shit we find underwater that looks alien as hell, man. And we've never seen before. And then you look out in the middle of that Amazon. Who knows what they got? I don't know. There could be some kind of creature that we would just think is a beast, or we would think it's from somewhere else. Who knows?
Yeah,
it's possible, I guess.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, and the fact they're going down there to do this, and now that we have a link to them, Ollie, got to keep up with that email. This is a good thing. Yeah, this is a good thing, and they're doing exactly what needs to be done. So it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Plus, that shows you how big the Amazon is. I mean, 18-hour boat ride. My God, dude, that's incredible. I mean,
The Amazon is huge.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. It produces enough oxygen that it affects global climate.
Yeah, it's incredible. Who knows?
Yeah,
I hope the best for him for sure.
It sounds a little bit bad, but the odds of something going wrong.
Why are you always pulling for the worst, man?
No, there's at least
Ollie's just pulling for it. Listen, Ollie, if they don't come back, we don't get to
chance.
talk to him again. So positive thoughts there, buddy. Yeah,
I don't mean because the aliens are just being ingenuine.
Nah, they'll be fine, man. They're yes, they'll be fine.
Ollie, you're true media. If it bleeds, it leads.
Yeah. What I would take, comfort in is that, granted, they got shot with the guns, and the thing didn't die, but it did go down. So that means normal physics apply, right? You just need a better tool to get through whatever. Yeah.
Sounds like that line from Predator. If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Correct. If you can get shot and get knocked down, granted, you didn't get through the technology, you didn't get through the armor.
Like Ali said, we need a bigger gun.
Or just proper munitions, right? Proper munitions.
I mean, jokes aside, this thing does sound like Predator, doesn't it? It
sounds exactly like that. In fact, the descriptions you read, if you've read any of the Missing 411 books or listen to David Paulides talk, it sounds a lot like what people who have seen these things or seen some phenomenon in the woods around when people disappear. Yeah. I'd be interested in talking to the Wrecker, Mr. Wrecker. I don't know his name. I just watched from the channel again. Since he goes to all the mounds and whatnot, because there's a mound in East Tennessee, which I believe would be close to his end, the Pinson State Mounds. And there's, been people that have disappeared there. It's a lot of interesting things. Sounds like they got a lot of interesting topics, but yeah, I wish them the best, man. I hope they've, come back. What I hope is they come back with excellent evidence.
I think
like a head. I hope they come back with a head.
I think even if they don't come back with any evidence, like physical evidence, I think they will. I do think they're going to come back with some amazing interviews from the locals.
Oh yeah.
which will be as good as, because I think you're going to see genuine reactions to people's distress about what's happened and what's gone on. And you're going to be able to look at these people, whether you speak the lingo or not, you're going to be able to judge these people and say, they saw something. They saw something real. They didn't just see somebody trying to scare them. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know how the story ever goes away unless they come to some kind of actual conclusion, though. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see how this is going to go anywhere. I mean, the jetpack thing is obviously kind of silly. You know what I mean, Dave? Like, how do you think they end this thing if they don't find anything? Or I don't see. You know what I mean?
That's the thing. Like, I wouldn't be. So here's the thing, right? If it is like every what if has its own story for conclusion. So let's say it is something with advanced technology or interdimensional, right? Let's just stay and run with that train of thought. Then the probability of them getting visual evidence is unlikely. You know, like I sent Ollie and Lee a thing. I thought it was really funny, but I also thought it was true. It's, you know, if you're reading the old stories about, you know, elder gods or whatnot, you know, you have to say the name right in the summoning circle and it shows up. It's like, well, if by that logic, why can't an ant summon a human, right? So you think about it like that. So the ants make their little circle, they get the name right, your attention's gathered, you go over there because there's a little circle of ants calling your name, and you're like, wow, this is weird. You know, let's see where this goes. What do you guys want? And it's like, you know, I want sugar. So you give them a teaspoon of sugar, and to them everything has changed. To you, you're like, wait till I tell the guys about this. Nobody's gonna believe me. You know, or maybe the ant says, you know, I want this other ant to fall in love with me. And you're like, well, how the hell am I gonna do that? So you kill all the ants except for those two. And then the guy who summons you is like, oh, what did I do? You know what I mean? Like, if it is something unknown, we don't know what its capability is. But if we're to take from the stories at accuracy, which if for the sake of this argument, let's do that. It can take damage. It can take physical kinetic damage. So whatever it is, and it's here, it plays by the same rules of physics that we do to a certain extent to how we understand them. Because it got hit with a slug or buckshot or birdshot or whatever, and it got knocked down. It didn't penetrate whatever it was wearing. So that tells me it has armor of some kind or a suit or survival or whatever it is that's protecting it. And that force wasn't enough to get through it, but the kinetic energy it carried was enough to knock it down. So that means gravity applies to it. That means, you know, obviously some sort of force was carried into its body, which means potential damage. And then what did we hear? The thing vanished. That doesn't necessarily mean it went anywhere. It just means you couldn't see it anymore, right? It's not visible anymore. And our understanding of physics would say that that's fine. So
what about the option of I mean, I know there's probably better places for them to start testing a blue beam, but what about planting a potential seed for down the road for a blue beam? You know, it's essentially an origin story. I mean, if you did that in the US, it could get traction and get knocked down, you know, quicker. Or if you left it in somewhere like that where it could kind of fester, down the road, maybe they could tap into that. What do you think about that possibility?
But to who? And wouldn't there be more like people talking about it?
Yeah.
The seed was planted months ago. Nobody's watering it. Nobody's fertilizing it except these two guys who just decided to do it. You know what I mean? That's the thing. And if I was going to start a seed, like I would probably put this closer to Machu Picchu or, you know, some other site, like something visible to get a crowd drawn, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
Like,
makes sense.
Go to Rome, you know, hit at the Vatican, or maybe I go to the Great Pyramid of Giza or Gopeki Tepe, right? Like, that's with the oldest site. We know that. Cool. Let's start doing people disappearing and vanishing around the other sites that we know things are under, but nobody's got there yet. Instead of a random area that takes 18 hours upriver to get to, that is barely communicating. To me, that sounds almost like the comic book turned little horror movie, 30 Days of Night, where the vampires isolate the people in Alaska.
That's a brilliant film.
Yeah, this is it. These or you know, like Tremors, that's the small town in the middle of Nevada that's cut off, and you got these underground worms that are eating people. You know,
Yeah, because at some point you'd want the reporters to be able to get there easily and start going. That makes sense. Yeah,
with credible witnesses.
correct. Yeah, that makes
not
sense.
villagers. Yeah, like nothing against villagers, but the Western
I know
world
what you mean.
just has preconceived ideas. So yeah, there's a lot of other, and not only that, you would start it in a Western model. You just would. You would start it, and it would be Northern Hemisphere, and it would be Western if you wanted it to catch fire as a seed. You know, it wouldn't be an Eastern philosophy. It wouldn't be anything south of the equator because everyone ignores it. It is what it is. So you would pick certain lots that it would just catch because you need it to catch on to Europe and America because those are the media hubs that are going to push it on everyone else because that's how things work. You know, why isn't it showing up in Jerusalem? Hell, there's a spot. Everybody's looking there. Let's do that. It's not. Again, it's very, it sounds to me predatory. It feels to me predatory, like when it's described. You know, and as far as the video in Brazil, one of the things they say about the face rippers is that they're all through that area. Like it's a known thing to the people.
I heard the other day, and it was another culture that speak about. I think it was, I don't know if it was in China. I think it may have been in China, like a really like near the desert area in China. Could be getting this wrong, but spoke about face. They didn't call them face peelers. I think did you say face rippers, Dave?
Face rippers, yeah.
I think that's
what an image.
Very imaginative name. Yeah.
Yeah, Jesus, man.
Yeah. And really, when you saw the face, man, that thing was clean.
It was, yeah.
I showed that to my doctor buddy, and he's like, "No, that body moves right. Like it's, you know, the way rigor mortis sets in, you get stiff, and then it goes limp again." And he was just kind of looking at like the anatomy. He's like, "There's muscles inside the jaw." I said, "That would definitely hold it in place." And he's like, "That's really good if that's a movie." I was like, I hope it's a movie. You know.
Yeah. Somebody said like that the face may have been in water and piranhas have fucking nibbled it, but it just looked too clean.
Water will swell the back of that skin too.
It looks like you've been cut off.
Yeah, it'll pull that water up and fatten up the tissue. Like think about and if you've ever seen anything dead in water when it bloats and soaks up and gets distorted, that was from the video, as much as we could see, looked very clean. Didn't look distorted, didn't look discolored.
You know?
Yeah.
Almost like bleached.
And that's the other thing.
Exposed to the sun.
It's pretty damn white.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
Hidden is right though when he said about that video being
it's earlier in a different place.
Earlier, but I believe where was that found hidden? It wasn't too far away. I think it was like a few thousand miles away, but not that far.
I just know that it came from Brazil. I think you still got the link somewhere. Do you want me to have a look?
I will have, but like that being put into the equation, that video,
then it shouldn't really.
I don't see that muddy in it. I just see that as being that may be nothing to do with it. But how can I put this right? If you're on the right track, maybe certain things are put in the way to make you go, oh, look at that. Oh, this must be exactly what it is. So then you start researching one thing, and then you see, well, hang about, this is in a totally different location. That means the whole thing's fucking
no. Yeah, I get what that's as when you're a conspiracist. Yeah, and you start going down rabbit holes, you will see a lot of red herrings that will take you down different paths. And when you get down to the end of the path, there's nothing there.
Yeah,
it just sidetracks you. I mean, I've done it for a long time. That's why I stopped. But I don't think it muddies it. I agree with you, but it does. It makes people think like, well, this footage is from there, from Peru, when it's not actually from Peru. It's from. You get what I'm trying to say?
That's what you've got to remember is it was a TikToker that decided to go. They'd heard of the story and they went, "This is the footage." So
just like with the Vegas story with that
exactly,
the fake CGI alien.
It doesn't mean to say that the stories,
but there are
legit.
But
you know, people will with every story that comes out, there's going to be something, but whether it be a different date, a different time, it's still crazy footage that
It's showing
doesn't add
weird
up.
stuff's going on down there,
well, it wouldn't,
and it has been for a while.
To me, it wouldn't put that
Yeah.
kind of face peeling that we're talking about, the footage. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if it was cartel, because they like to do some horrendous things to scare other people.
They do, but their terror tactics are a little different. Like, the thing is, like, there's so many connection points on your face for muscles. There's so many muscles on your face, and that thing is scoured damned clean. So it's not acid. There's not burns on the skin. The hair's still there. The way the blood is still flowing, like it's still in the body, so it happened pretty damn quick. Because if you've ever cut your face or your scalp, nothing bleeds like that. You know what I mean? It's just because, like, you flush, right? Like, it's vascular. The blood's going to flow out of it. It's just weird.
Couldn't it have been done with a really good somebody with some knowledge and a good scalpel?
Exactly. But
Probably not.
That's somebody with real fucking knowledge.
Yeah, like a taxidermist who's got the time that you could, hell yeah.
The time you would take. I mean, the body, right? I mean, it didn't seem like it was that old.
Anyone who's ever hunted or done butchery, like, you've ever scraped the meat off a bone? Come on.
I've scraped the meat off a chicken once.
Yeah, let alone to do it perfectly. Like, jawline up. We're gonna clean
it's
this
left
boy
little
down.
pieces of chicken on the bone. It's like it's impossible to scrape. It's like it's glued to the fucking bone.
Yeah, and you'll chip it and stuff too, and that thing looked clean.
Yeah,
I didn't see anything like that on it.
Yeah, when you try to cut the meat off a bone, you will cut into the bone.
It looked like a cattle mutilation. It looked like a cattle mutilation on a person.
Yeah,
but I mean, like, again, I said, it just shows that weird shit's been going on down there. You know what I mean? That it's getting underreported.
Well, Brazil is the home.
Underreported.
Well, Brazil is the home of the human mutilations. I mean, we know of 2. So how many has gone unreported? Because if it wasn't for that guy to snap the picture and talk about it, we wouldn't even have known about them 2.
Maybe. Yeah, it's just a weird thing. Everything it's weird, and then the whole vibe of the thing feels weird, right? The way it's ignored, the way things are being, the way that it's these 2 guys going down there for it. It's strange.
Well, I'll be honest with you. When I first started seeing the story, and with the government did come out, and they're the ones that were saying it was miners with jetpacks. That's what they wrote it off as. I was happy to go along with that, but the longer it's gone on, and the more stuff I'm seeing, there is something going on down there.
The reason I started to believe something was going on was because the government said what was going on.
Miners with jetpacks.
So you're taking an official stance? That's a lie. Something's actually going on down there.
See, what's weird with the government now is they could actually say something truthful, and because of the general distrust of the government, no one's going to believe them. Like that old saying, now that the government's come out saying that UFOs are real, I just don't know.
I don't think they know how to tell the truth. I genuinely don't. It's just not in there. They're not capable.
But do they think we're stupid? Like,
yes,
we must. Like,
I mean, we
miners,
are
miners with jetpacks.
I mean, let's be honest, we are.
Yeah. Well, mostly we are. Yeah. The vast majority of the population is stupid.
Has anybody bought this in the UFO community though? Miners with jetpacks. Any other channels like going saying, "Hey, look at the see."
I haven't seen anything.
Yeah, it's also one of those things that I love, like things that are peculiar. It's again, man.
I'll have a look for you guys.
What's that? So just look for anything that's getting pushed everywhere, right? You got from the paper mache things to this. It's obviously mistaken. They're getting pushed out for minors. They're just and it's everywhere on X. Everyone's saying the same thing. I think the powers that be have figured out a way to help guide and curve us in the alternative media. I think that's an inaccurate name. I don't know how media we are, but by just getting enough bots and enough people to say exactly what needs to be said, and even in our conspiracy-minded trust no one, a lot of people just want to go with the flow because they don't want to shake the boat. Right? They want to hang out with their friends and say the same thing that everyone else says instead of take a different position.
Well, plus I think it's dark. I mean, some of these avenues you can go down, man, they're not fun. And then sometimes you get down halfway down and you're like, God, I really wish I wouldn't have went here. You know, I
Those
could have
are-
lived without knowing this.
Those are my favorite avenues. I
Tell
own
me about
property
it.
there.
I mean, if I could unwatch the Jared from Subway documentary about him being a bad guy, I won't say the word, but I mean, I wish I could unwatch stuff like that. You know, I got too far into that one, and I was like, I'm stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just is. So as again, like, you know, think about just the paper mache aliens. How did that be paper mache get going? How did that reference that was picked up and said by everybody? Paper mache. What the fuck about this looks like it's paper mache? Why,
Yeah,
how are we coming down to
was
paper mache?
white.
Why is this the go-to that, like, why this is the go-to? This is the slogan. Whether it's real or not, everybody had the same slogan, and they picked it up like that. Because when you looked at X and you looked at Instagram, all the accounts that so many other people follow, that's exactly what they
Memes.
posted, and everybody below them took off with it. They just ran all by themselves. What a beautiful piece of social engineering. I hope whoever did that got a bonus because they earned it. Well done. Well done.
Yeah, it looked more like Pompeii to me anyway. I wish people would have just went with that first rather than paper mache, but I guess it's whatever's first out there.
Yeah,
you know?
Lisa
They could have called it a
Pompeii.
doll. Like, look at this fake doll, and then just
Yeah.
rolled on. You know,
Yeah.
but they like to have a simple message that breaks down easy that they can then push, and they do, and everyone picks it up. Because as much as people proclaim to not trust people in the field that are at the top, everyone just hangs on what they say. They regurgitate the snippets because they want to be associated with them, because despite all the shit they talk down here, they would love to hang out with, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
yeah.
Plus, how many people actually remember Pompeii from 6th grade, man? Paper mache is probably just more relatable. You don't have to look it up. You know, boom, it's there. You know what they're saying. Go, you know?
Yeah. I was just going with petrified. Look at this petrified thing. You know,
Reddit has removed that footage. Sorry,
they have.
guys.
all the better. Now it's real.
What
If it was
so
fake,
they
that
do-
shit would still be up.
Reddit's removed the what have they removed him?
The face peeler footage. Because some
All
people
right,
in
yeah,
the chat-
everybody's it's been removed everywhere.
That's how it's real. Think about it. We can still find all the fake, hoaxy bullshit, things that should get flagged. Like, this is obviously someone just trying to, well, it's art, we're going to leave it. Or, you know, you can look up, especially on Reddit, horrible things, right?
Yeah.
Horrible. People dying in unbelievable ways. But that's got to go.
Yeah, I mean, even YouTube, you can find every compilation of murders and movie scenes, the worst ones ever. They're all there, and there's a lot more shocking stuff with some of that than even what you looked at with him. So, yeah, it's kind of weird. I remember Ali, you were talking about when you guys did the alien autopsy thing too, and it's like
say that,
and it's the same idea. It can't be on YouTube. It's gone. You know,
Yeah,
the long version.
Yeah, I was so worried about, and this is one of the reasons why I wanted to do the video about the alien autopsy, is because the footage is pretty much banned off YouTube, and I thought, okay, this if I'm doing commentary over it, and we're all having a chat about it, then it will be okay to use. I think it's still up, that video. It's the video where Dave and Rich had the punch up.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Neither have I. And then Rich decided to call me a flip flop.
You are.
I am, yeah.
So whoever said that was accurate.
But yeah, that footage to this day, I think if you upload it just to YouTube on its own, you're fucked. But yet there's actual autopsies on YouTube that you can go watch.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Real autopsies. So why an alien fake autopsy is a taboo thing? No idea.
Because they want you to stop talking about it. That's why. Well, you always know when you're over the target when you start getting flack for something you're talking about. The one thing you can't criticize, that's your master. Who or whatever that is, that's what's in control of you. Whatever you can't talk shit about. The same thing. Whatever you
got
can
Sergey's
or cannot
book
share.
yet?
Yeah. Oh,
Did
no,
you get
no.
his book?
No, they canceled. That canceled a long time ago. That canceled 3 weeks after I ordered it. He canceled it, not Amazon.
Well, that really expensive book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember.
Dave paid like $100 or something like that.
So it was $114 for his book that explained how he did everything, and it just kept waiting for it to ship, and then they said the store canceled the order. Like he canceled it because he wasn't having them print it. He was supplying, like he's taking the orders and supplying and sending the book.
Is that book still up there?
I think so.
Is there any reviews?
What's that?
Is there any reviews?
Probably from his sister, dude. So like when you look into them, I actually mean that. So they have like their own publishing company. They have a lot of these little companies that you can look up and run down, and then it's him and his sister and one of their friends, and they're all in these different. So like when they're quoting this, this publishing company and this person, and they're leaving all these reviews, like, well, that's your sister's publishing company that you're the co-chair of. That's your best friend's thing that your sister also works for, that you're also employed by, and then this is your. It's just, anybody can throw up an internet site real quick. You know what I mean? And, it just didn't make sense. He still takes credit for it. So that's cool. He's got the book that's allegedly still online. That's cool. I hope someone else tries it that you can't buy. Yeah. So that was weird. I did get the book from Denman.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I just arrived today. So Mysterious Places or something like that. I got it downstairs. But yeah,
from Thursday. That was quick from Thursday's show.
I ordered it during the show. Yeah, as soon as he said it.
As soon as he held the book, I said someone's going to buy that now, and I knew it. I know you, Dave.
Yeah, he took the time to write it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get him and his brother back on.
Yeah, that was interesting. Interesting.
Really cool guy. Yeah. Well, boys, I mean, it's slightly later than normal for a Sunday, but I think it's been an absolute blast. Didn't expect to get somebody to come on that's actually going in the expedition. That was not planned awesome. At all. Seems to be a trend on this channel. Like things just kind of just fall into place.
You're manifesting, Ollie.
I don't know. I think someone is. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's very strange. Very strange. But yeah. When they come back, I would definitely like to get them back on. To discuss it. It's just mind blowing. Like this is the one case I think out of any case that I've heard recently, and I'm not just saying this because the guy came on, because we spoke about this case 3 times, and like in Lee and Dave and I's private chat. This is probably one of the cases we've kind of like had back and forth, like genuine conversations about what the fuck's going on here. This is weird. Not taking the piss conversations like this. Something's going on here. They're not telling us. Something is. I do think that. I whether it's aliens or not, I don't know. I do think it's something very strange, something that we may not know about. I mean, like you say, it's a big fucking planet. That there's a lot of land there that's just not. Nobody goes into that place.
We're the free range meat for some other species.
Possibly, yeah.
I'm lucky. I'm old and tough and a bit chewy.
Somebody likes it that way. There's always somebody.
Don't say that, man.
It's like the guy who orders the best steak on the menu. I want it extra well done. Give me with ketchup. What are you doing?
Well, I've invited the guy that was on Talk TV talking about the Peruvian mummies, has got in touch with me
Awesome.
recently and said, send me an email. I'll come on the show. So hopefully, maybe next week, maybe the week after. I don't know, but I'm ready to talk about those mummies again because if someone can convince me they're real, I'm up for it.
And not a cake.
And not a cake, not paper mache.
See, that's also the thing. Like, just think about that cake reference, that meme that's gone viral. That's a huge role in discrediting that. Everyone associates with it. It was something that was instantly created and put out there, like hours.
That
after
cake was
went live.
really fast. It was really fast.
And
yeah.
everyone's like, "Oh, this is a
Ridiculous
joke," and
detail.
people have immediately dismissed it, even though you have all these doctors in Mexico
Yeah.
from a medical university who are like, "Oh no, that's something real." And everyone's like, they're Mexican doctors. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. And everyone goes on.
That's the most racist thing ever.
But it's 100% what's going on. That's why it's a joke.
It is.
That's why
Yeah,
no
it
one
is.
takes it seriously. These guys are medical
Yeah.
professionals. They teach at the university. They teach doctors. They teach people how to use the equipment. Everyone's like, those guys don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
But I think the problem is that those mummies came out before.
Correct.
Years before, and
They did 2016,
they were discredited then.
But by who?
Well, they were X-rayed.
How? These have been X-rayed. These have been put through CT scans. Real imaging. You see the muscle tissue. You see the vascular. So if it's a mummy, or not a mummy, but if it's a fake, it's an amazing fake that just ruined the careers of, what was that panel? 6 doctors? 6 professionals.
There was one of them back in 2016 that got X-rayed that the bones didn't add up. That, like, I can remember that one. That was the big, tall one that had nothing to do with them smaller ones.
Yeah,
The one with no head.
Yeah, so there was that website, because we had that lady come on who knew a whole bunch about these. Remember her, Ollie?
Yeah.
I forget who
Bex.
that was. Yeah. And
That UFO chick.
Correct. That was awesome. And she was way onto it and put us on those websites. And you look at it, all these information has been out for a while, 100% right. And people are like, it's been discredited. And you look at it and you're like, okay, how? Nobody said, well, look at a cake. Look at it's paper mache. And you're just like,
the bone backwards.
Those aren't answers. Bones backwards according to who? According to what physiology?
Mm.
Yeah,
I've seen that lemur's skull backwards.
Yeah, or they're like, no, man, it's a yak skull from here. Listen, I can take a rock from my yard, Photoshop, crop, and edit to make it look like anything.
Yeah.
I can claim it to, that's just obviously a rock.
Yeah, I suppose they did a reverse pareidolia on that thing.
Correct. Because people don't really want to believe. They want to believe what fits in their personal narrative instead of being like, well, maybe it is. Right? Like, at the end of the day, what it comes down to for me, whether that's real or fake, I don't know. If it's fake, then those doctors should immediately lose their medical license. And anyone that they've taught on any of this equipment should immediately be called into question.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, because this is a big damn deal. But the number one critique you get from people when you talk to them, they're like, well, they're Mexican doctors. I went to a different country for medical procedures that I couldn't get done here. So
yes, you did.
Yeah, and I know people who go to Mexico to get stem cell treatments. Hell, I'm thinking about doing it. So some of the best treatments you get aren't in the normal Western world. You got to go other places. And those are the best people in the world. They're the ones making crazy money. Dude, the guy who fixed my eyes while I was there, I think I was calculating in my head. He worked 2 hours, and I think he made somewhere just under €1 million. That day. So again, it comes down to, so I could tell someone, well, you got your eyes fixed. Well, you went to blankety blank place to get that done. Yeah, because the guy who did it has a medical degree. He has a PhD in nuclear physics. He has a PhD in nuclear engineering. He has a PhD in chemistry. Yeah, I went to him in X country because they're the only one who'll let him do whatever the hell he wants to do. He's a mad scientist, and now I can see. So
I mean, I wonder how much, though. Sorry to interrupt you, Dave. I mean, I wonder how much how much it could have helped though to not have Jaime in a lot of that footage in those CT scans though. That always kind of sucks to me. I wish I would have had a little bit more, someone would have had a bit more forethought in that and not had him there, because that taints it with his reputation. I mean, whether it's viable reputation or not, there's people that think he's a bullshitter. So like getting him out of that footage would have helped probably.
But, and I agree with you, but the only people who think he's a bullshitter is us. The population, his name is known, just like Jeremy Corbell. He's a household name who's associated with UFOs.
Well, see, I know what he does.
I see what you mean by that.
Yeah. It wasn't for us.
He's peppered. Jaime's peppered. Jaime's just peppered, man. He mixed in some truth with some lies.
Oh yeah. I'm not so Hidden. I'm not defending his credibility. What I'm saying is he is the guy that somebody grabbed, because who do we know who's in UFOs who has a name? Jaime. Everyone in Mexico knows him. Like all of South America knows this guy. Let's go with that guy.
Even
to us, we're like, dude, you fucking could have picked anyone better. Like here in the U.S., think who would they grab? Right here in the U.S., you're going to grab Corbell, you're going to grab Greer, you're going to grab Knapp. Right now in this environment, and it's probably going to be Corbell or Knapp. Right, probably Corbell. And for us, we'd be like, God, they got Corbell. Of course they did. You know what I mean? But to us who are into it, we see all the flaws. This isn't for us. You know.
So are you saying there what I think you're saying that like, for example, Greer at some point he knew he was picked, and he knew.
No, Ollie. Everyone can go talk to senators and congressmen.
Yeah,
you know.
So that's interesting. Like, so these people essentially they can if they make the right moves, they do the right things, if they push in the right directions, they'll get noticed.
Is that not what we're trying to do?
Yeah,
seems to be working, doesn't it?
It's interesting. It's really interesting. It's like it's almost like a game.
Of course, it's a game.
It's a game. You got it. You got it, man. Game.
Yeah, life is a game.
It's a hustle, man, just on a different level.
Yeah. Everything's. I mean, life is a hustle. This is all a game. Everything's a game, and I think for my money, this is the best extracurricular game I could play. It's messing around in the phenomenon of nonsense and craziness, and it's fun.
I'm 100% with you.
Yeah,
I'm 100% with you, man.
It gives you hope. Feels like magic. It's a good damn time, man.
And just every now and again, you stumble upon something.
Yeah, which may or may not keep you up at night.
It's almost like gambling too. I mean, because every once in a while you get hurt too. You go negative, you go bust, and then you kind of find your way back. Maybe some mummies get dropped out there or something. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a lot of highs, a lot of lows.
Yeah. What's tomorrow hold?
Yeah, it's true.
What's tomorrow hold?
Well, shit. Hopefully a skiff with Grush. So you never know.
That will never happen.
We're going back. They're getting it. Supposedly, Anna Paul Luna said they're doing it. Is that not the truth?
I don't think so.
Okay.
We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I hope that they do. Whether or not we'll get anything, who knows that? But I mean, still interesting.
This is the other thing to take away. So they get a secure facility that they can do this at, right?
Yeah.
Because they got a shitload of them just floating around. Like they got to get one. They have one in the building that they were at. They could have just gone down 2 floors. So here's the thing. So he tells her all that stuff. That's great. She can't tell you anything.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, she can't tell us. So it's no different.
I don't know.
Have no idea what he'll say.
I mean, maybe though. I mean, I think you can find association though. I mean, if he goes in there and starts talking about Boeing and Skunk Works and starts telling them that, and you start seeing people brought in from those areas to testify, I think you can, in a roundabout way, find out what he said. You might not get the words, but
that will never happen.
Why do you think that?
Okay, so if I take you in a room and give you a piece of classified activities, and now you're going to go and you're going to start calling people from that classified activity, what questions are you going to ask them? Yeah. You cannot reference anything I said. The fact that you called them could constitute a violation. The only people who will know will be the people in that room. And it would just be as easy to have Grush say, hypothetically, right? Just playing the one off there.
Yeah.
Have Grush go in there and he's got someone with him, or maybe Grush by himself. And what does he have? He has pictures of their kids, their grandkids, their nieces and nephews, where they go to school, pictures from. It's like, so you're going to go out there and agree with everything I fucking say, or car accidents are going to start happening.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. The DoD probably doesn't want anything out, and it's possible that could happen. Yeah, for sure. I mean,
yeah,
they'd have to have a hold of everybody, that's for sure. And if they got a hold of everybody, Dave, God, we got a lot bigger problems than that.
They already do. I mean,
Yeah,
the thing
I
is,
know,
they
but-
have. So I think what Wrecker said was interesting, and it's something I've said on here multiple times. Everything you do on your cell phone is known if someone chooses to look.
Sure.
Yeah, everything.
Well, that's why I think VPNs are bullshit. I think that's the biggest
are
scam like
bullshit.
ever right now. It's the biggest new like little tech scam ever. If people want your information, dude, they're gonna get it. You're not hidden on the internet. Like
The
they're
only
gonna get
people-
after you.
Yeah, the only people it slows down is local law enforcement and maybe federal, depending on what they're looking at you for.
Yeah.
Doesn't stop anyone else.
Yeah.
So, you know, your Wi-Fi actively maps out your house. You know, I mean, it the amount of stuff is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And again, it comes down to, do they have everyone at some form or another? Yeah. And if they don't have everyone, then they just don't let them play the game. Like, think what you want of Tim Burchett, right? He's a Tennessee guy.
I
I'm a
like
Tennessee
him.
guy.
I do too.
I've met
Yeah.
Tim Burchett.
Yeah.
You know, he's an interesting character. There's a reason he's not heading any of these. There's a reason they're not giving him any authority. Because he's very open. He's very open that he has a divorce, that, you know, he's been through XYZ, that's his whole huge campaign. He's just being a superhuman guy. So look at who they do pick to run these things. That person's compromised. Look at Fang Fang, the Chinese operative that's banging a member of Congress who at that time was calling to nuke the U.S. population. Mind-blowing. You know what I mean? That guy still serves, man. No one cares. In fact, he's still getting appointed to boards and chairing things. Why? He's totally compromised.
Do you think it's possible to get a Snowden kind of whistleblower to just come out and just drop it?
Snowden was a whistleblower?
Thank you, Dave.
When did that happen?
When the government told him he could do it.
You mean when he was
Okay.
paid to do it?
Okay, so you're in that.
Now he
you're a
lives in
different
Russia
camp
as
than-
a
Okay.
He lives in Russia as a millionaire? Yeah.
Yeah.
Shoot, I don't
And
know
somehow
about.
they
I don't know any about that. I just know he
Oh,
can't
yeah.
come home from what I know. You know what I mean?
And somehow they allowed his girlfriend and his kid to just kind of come and visit him, and they allow her to come and go.
I mean, you know more about Snowden, I guess, than I do. So I mean, you're gonna
That's
get me
all
on that.
publicly, like that's all publicly available. Like,
Yeah.
you know, he
But
got
even-
his money kind of like it doesn't matter what, like, if you look at these congressmen, because, you know, Congress pays, you know, less than $200K, and depending on the position, maybe a little more than $200K, and that's genuinely not a lot of money, in my opinion. But you see these first term House members that are suddenly 6 months in, now they're worth $3 million. I can name a couple of them off the top of my head. Oh, I got a book deal. Really? I've never seen your book for sale anywhere. You know, but the book deal exists. It's taxable income. There's plenty of ways to funnel money and pay people. You got to understand, this is what I believe. This is not even what I believe. It's what's fact. Our media is controlled by not central intelligence agencies, but the intelligence agencies as a whole.
As a whole,
The intelligence agencies that work for the government, they're not even in control anymore, because most intelligence agencies have been privatized, like Black Square for the Mossad, Booz Allen Hamilton for the United States, along with others. Here's another fun one. Travis Taylor, right, works for, what's the name of the company that he and Lou Elizondo work for?
Oh, I can't remember now.
Radiance Technologies, right? You look at their website, you know, one of their primary things that they do is intelligence gathering, human intel. Human. All right. So it's not just getting intelligence from people, it's working people, it's setting things up. That's a huge moneymaker. So while they're Radiance Technologies and optical lasers and this and that, that's great. They're also doing clandestine intelligence work as the bread and butter. And who are the people that fucking work for this place? Openly. Because why would they hide it? Who's looking? Right? No one's looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So disclosure never comes from anywhere.
Why would it?
Unless whatever this phenomena is does it itself.
Maybe they're protecting us from it. Maybe they genuinely are.
So
Maybe it's just like what's going on in Peru and it's fucking eating people.
So do you think that Majestic 12 could be true
or false? I don't know.
No, what's your thought? What's your thought?
I think if it came from the Central Intelligence Agency, disregard. I think everyone's looking at the wrong agencies. Everyone gets spun up about the Department of Defense. Everyone gets spun up about NSA. And now DIA. Everyone's you hear say DIA. DIA's been around for a while.
That's so Department of Energy, right?
I would
that's
say
where it's at.
Department of Energy. And I think that if you started doing freedom of information requests from the Department of Energy, someone will knock on your door.
It's interesting.
Did you know that the only federal authority in the United States that has the discretion to do really anything is the Department of Energy and the security forces that are on it? Yeah, they're federal agents. The DOE has their own standing force.
You can't ask for shit. Agents. They ain't got to tell you shit either.
They don't have to. And here's the thing, like the Air Force, Navy, they don't control the nukes. DOE does. They own all nuclear material in the United States. Not only that, every other country contracts the DOE to handle their stuff. And sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and I hear that's somebody else was saying this was their kind of conclusion too, which is anything that was going on with UFOs at all would just be under that act that created that. It would just fall under those energies. And I mean, you would never get it anywhere. Forget about it. It wouldn't even be Boeing. Had to hell with it.
Area 51, right? That's on DOE land. That's why they have the contractors they have. That's why those contractors can shoot you. Because they have carte blanche. Yeah. Just like all the national lab sites, those are DOE sites.
Wow.
People are like, we're going to take it to the Air Force. Nobody would ever take it to the fucking Air Force. The Air Force doesn't have a lab. They don't have scientists. Do you know where one of the highest per capita areas, at least it was during World War II and then for a long time after, for PhDs was in Tennessee? In the world. It was a random little valley town.
Why is that?
Still is. It's where they made the nuclear bomb. It's where they made all nuclear fissile material. It's where they had next level generation labs set up and still do.
That's
people are like, they're going to take it to the Air Force so it can be researched. Really? What lab does the Air Force own? No, they all contract somewhere else. All their people work somewhere else. DARPA, they go to DARPA. Cool. Where are the DARPA labs? A lot of them are in colleges where they're recruiting young, bright minds, and they take them, they move them where? To the national labs. Okay, that makes sense. Where are the national labs? Behind DOE protection. Because you can't play with the Department of Energy. It's a no-go, and think about it. If you're going to move, say you had alien technology or material, extraterrestrial material as opposed to terrestrial material, or maybe it is terrestrial material. Hell, we don't know, right? We don't know. Maybe it's old and forgotten. Maybe they really did dig it up. Okay. You're going to move it to an Air Force base where it's under the base commander who kind of has carte blanche to kind of tell everyone to fuck off and he can show it to his girlfriend or the receptionist. No, you move it to the Department of Energy where everything's compartmentalized, where they keep armed personnel between everyone, where no one's allowed to talk. And you got to check your cell phones, and it takes 45 minutes to check into one of these facilities as they sweep everything. Everybody there's under non-disclosure agreements, and everyone's constantly undergoing penetration testing because they employ their own forces to do that. Just to see if they can get you to talk, let alone, that's the crazy thing is there's so many secrets out there that whenever you hear a lot of people talking about it, it's the wrong secret. It's the wrong agency. It's the wrong agency.
Maybe that's we're kind of hoping that it's not just there, right? I've thought about that before, of course. That it's all behind the DOE. We're never going to get it, but it's like, fuck, man. I would hope there'd be something somewhere else that could give us. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being hopeful. It's just wishful thinking,
Yeah. Here's the beauty of it being behind. So this is why it's DOE. DOE doesn't run their own labs. Do they have a few? Sure. Mostly it's all contractors on their property. And those contractors can tell the government to fuck right off. Like, you don't have clearance to be at this facility. It's this code word classified. Literally, it's code word classified.
Yeah.
There are buildings I know that are at these places that if you were to walk by them, they would just tell you that's not there. and you just keep walking.
The
You know, that
building's not there.
doesn't exist. It's not real. You know, and you got to think about it. It's like, well, we'll sneak onto there. One, if you don't get shot. Two, all those facilities are surrounded by, not a mistake, nuclear waste. Have fun hunting through those hills, man. I'll pass. You know, I'll pass. That's good.
Well, yeah, and you never know like what kind of regulations or stipulations they have to where, you know, if someone they felt was going to spill some beans that worked for them, what they could do legally to those people, I guess, right?
Oh, no,
I mean,
no.
what
Everybody knows.
handbook?
That's no. They know. Everybody knows what they can and will do. You know, Department of Energy, when they're moving materials, they have special vehicles. There's even YouTube videos where you can see them talk about it. These guys are incredibly well trained. They have immunity. Like, again, it's happened in the past. And again, you can look it up on YouTube and see them talk about it, where local law enforcement have been alerted because people got scared because they don't know what kind of creepy. And granted, they're kind of clandestine, but they're still stand out, obviously. Like, that's something I never seen before. So they'll try and pull them over, and it doesn't go well because they come out, rifles drawn, ready to roll. Because, you know, what would be the perfect thing for a terrorist to do? To pretend to be a cop, to try and hijack one of these things. Can't stop them, not when they're moving. You know, and that's just their escort vehicles. They have all other departments. They have investigators. They have intelligence guys. They're a huge entity. They're a huge entity that is smart enough to not come up in the news. You know, they don't come up. They're not talked about. And again, if it was me and I was moving around material, you send it to a Department of Energy facility where they keep nukes and all that kind of stuff on site, or they're doing research. Nobody's getting in there. None of your scientists are going to ask questions. You know, that's already bred out of them. And you have the latest and greatest of every piece of technology known to man to analyze, research. You have the brightest minds there, all under contract, all with backgrounds, all who don't even talk to their wives about this stuff, you know? Yeah. And there's plenty of those labs in the US who are all built out, and they're usually in rural areas. Now that we have the mass migration going on in the US of people moving around, there are people moving around these different areas. So that's changing. You know, it's crazy. Like it just always blows my mind. It's like, it's an Air Force Base, Andrews Air Force Base. What labs are at Andrews Air Force Base? Because you're going to need a lab. You're going to need tech. You're going to need scientists. You're going to need to bring these people in. You're not having, you know, airmen, whoever, come over here and start whacking on it with a hammer. That's not what we're doing.
Well, well, here's the thing, though. I always wonder, like, why even do it in the continental U.S.? Like, why not just go get an island somewhere and go fly your saucer somewhere else where people can't just take a cell phone video? I never understood that. If we had tech like Tic Tacs that could go underwater and travel anywhere else, why the hell would we do it near anywhere anybody could see it? Why wouldn't we just go? We have any money we want.
It's funny you say that. They own islands.
Yeah,
In
well,
fact,
that's what I would do. I would say, why the hell would we have it at Area 51 anymore? We got tour buses coming out here. Yeah. Take the shit out in the ocean somewhere. It
hasn't been there for a long time. They genuinely just test next.
Well, yeah. Well, no, I get that, but I mean, even if let's say it was, I mean, you have people going around your base, and whether or not you want the action around or not. I mean, it's just like, why would they do anything here? Like, take it somewhere else. I don't know. Like,
well, you hide it in, like, at these labs that are in urban-esque areas. One, you have to have people around that live there, right? These people aren't going to be happy living on a military, like they're scientists, they're nerds, they're whatever high level person you have. You're gonna have to have support structure for them. It's not going to be military or contracted. So suddenly you're building these towns. Like, it's going to exist around it just to keep your people happy and resources. But that's fine because you ingrain yourself with the local police department, local firefighters, local emergency services. You tap all cellular communications with the NSA, have them set up a hub, and they run everything that comes or goes on your phone, whoever one is, what the Wi-Fi is, every X miles of here, who gives a shit about the Constitution or warrants. This is what you're doing because, it's security, right? We can do it. So they do. It's just how it goes. Like, putting something like Area 51 is an excellent show in why you don't put things out in the middle of nowhere on the continental United States. Now, DOE does have contracts out on islands. And that's something I don't want to get into here. But that absolutely exists. Absolutely exists. In fact, talking about that air flight, the island the guy keeps talking about, That's contracted by the military through the Department of Energy. So they keep staff out there. So many thousands of people. What are you guys doing out there? It's classified. Officially, it is a nuke sub refueling station. Which makes sense. You're gonna have Department of Energy workers out there. You're gonna have all these science. You have labs because you have to test the quality of the material and make sure it's safe, and whatever else, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely smart, and they definitely have unlimited resources in a sense. So, I mean,
yeah.
I mean, that's one thing I have said a lot, which is we definitely underestimate, the whole UFO community underestimates just how smart a lot of these agencies are, man. Like they're gonna outwit us 99% or more of the time. We're just hoping for a couple dribbles of water through the dam, and hopefully get somewhere. I get it. Yeah.
No, I'm happy. I'm hoping for a paycheck. That'd be great if they'd like to sponsor Alien Attic. I'll say whatever they want.
Maybe one day.
Whatever they want.
And that's on the record.
Absolutely. I've said it multiple times.
If I'm presenting
I'm for sale, man.
A paper mache alien on here, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hell, I'm cheap. I'm not even going to be difficult.
Cheap. I think I'm cheap. Cheaper than you, Dave.
Yeah, that's probably true.
I'll take a brand new maxed out gaming PC every 2 years. I'll be happy.
I need more than that, but I'll say whatever they want. Anyway,
I'll do it for a bucket of chicken wings.
No, interesting conversation, Dave. I mean, for sure. I mean, I think it is. I think a lot of people might look at what we just talked about as extremely cynical, but I think a lot of the reality of this, it is, man. It's very, very covered. Even though we don't always want to look at it that way because it's not as fun and it probably makes you want to turn around and walk out of the door. But I think there's probably a lot of reality in what we.
I will say this,
yeah.
For any of the debunkers out there that want to try and have a go at this case, do it. You can't bring anything other than miners with jetpacks, and then you sound like a dick.
And everybody still watching needs to hit the like button. All 73.
Absolutely. And you need to go to social media and explain what.
Just share the episode. Tonight. Share the episode.
Just share it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be selfish. Show's free, motherfuckers. Right. It's nearly like two. We've got over 2 hours, people. We've got over 2 hours. Hidden, my lad. What you got going on? When you going to invite us on live? Lee won't swear. Normal Dave.
I'll absolutely swear.
You know I hate live shows. Well, what's going on is me and Nick Pope, we're going to go down to the Houses of Parliament.
Yes,
we're going to talk a lot of shit.
Can you get Nick Pope to come on with you? Ooh. We'll be nice.
I don't know the guys.
You're about to, though.
Hopefully. I'd love to go down Parliament and talk about civilian sightings.
You are going down to Parliament next year.
Yeah,
exactly 22nd of March.
I'd love to.
Yeah, allegedly. Well, okay. You're not supposed to leak it. Fair enough. I get it. I get the whole thing.
Yeah. There goes my paycheck. Thanks, Ollie. But yeah, what's coming up is all I can say for sure is we're gonna do a Halloween show with some videos that were shown previously on the channel, and kind of like what I did with the UFO compilation. So I'll be having some 420, and I'm going to premiere the video, so I'll be in the chat with you guys getting high, and it's what the hell. Let's see what's going on afterwards.
Beautiful.
Can I just say as well, if anybody's listening that does follow me, if you haven't checked out my social media links like Facebook, Twitter, and Disclose, please go over there, because when I'm not posting videos on there, I do come across interesting pictures and stuff like that and stories that I will post on there. So you guys know that I'm not sitting around with my feet up. It's just that there's not a lot of decent footage out there.
That's fair, mate. That's fair.
So that's me done. That's me done.
Ice cream terrestrial, my lad.
Yeah.
What you got planned for next week?
Well, nothing next week. Because I'm gonna go do our 5th-year wedding anniversary, so I'm getting out of here. And then it also
Good for you,
happens
lad.
to be, I appreciate it. It also happens to be yesterday's show, which was, we had Nick on from Cosmic Twilight, which he did an incredible expose on everything Nazi UFOs, German technology, and the Vril, everything from the Woo to the hovercrafts. It's 2 hours of absolute fun. So definitely go check that.
It was really good.
Yeah. Nick's impressive with his knowledge and the way he kind of flows the presentation. It's definitely worth a watch. It's on our channel here on YouTube. But other than obviously not being here next weekend, we are Saturdays at 7:00 Eastern Standard Time. Once a week, we do UFO talk. You know, every once in a while at the end, if we find a little MMA, a little gaming, we'll sprinkle in some interesting news for that. But I have a co-host, my brother-in-law, and we've had a lot of fun, dude. And thank you for having me on tonight. It's been a good time. It's nice to meet you, Dave. Nice to meet you, Hidden. I know you used the clip from our show the other night. It was very funny. Ali played it for us. So no, it's always cool to come on Alien Attic. We always get so much love here, and we appreciate it.
No, you're more than welcome. I like having you. And David, next week, what's the plan? Just gonna go with the flow.
I don't make plans. I just show up.
A gun for hire.
Dave's lying. Dave's the brain behind this thing.
If that's the truth, we're in trouble.
Yeah. On that note, people, make sure you check us out on all our social medias and all that jazz. They are all in this description. I'm going to add some. If you're watching this live now, I'm going to update the description with everybody who was on tonight because it's quite kind of last minute. With especially American. Yes, that's the one. There he is, the Vindicator show.
I didn't work for anyone.
I don't know.
Yes,
He's got some information. Look out.
I didn't work for anyone. I guarantee that.
We have got to get you two on after that trip to Peru.
Oh yeah,
Definitely,
man,
100%.
Wrecker, hey man, you know I'll be praying for you guys. You guys be safe. Fucking watch it, man. You know, watch those tells, but also get good video. And just saying, if you know, I don't want anything bad to happen to you, but if it has to, make sure an alien does it and you film it.
Found footage.
Just saying. No. I mean, come back alive. I want you to come back alive. You know, just like if you got to get like a pinky or a thumb, you know, I would say not a big toe. You really need those, but you know, you do. Like you lose a big toe, you're fucked.
You're in trouble.
Yeah, you're in a lot of trouble. It's like losing a thumb. You can lose everything, but you got to keep the thumb and you got to keep the big toe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Big toe's important.
Yeah.
Balance, walking, moving, running.
What about the little one?
Nah, you lose almost all of those.
My little toe is like it's barely there.
Yeah.
It's like a little stub. My missus always takes the piss out of my little toe. Why is that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But Wrecker was great. I hope to talk to you again, man.
Wrecker was awesome.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Be super safe.
Yeah, stay safe, my friend. Yep. So if you want to check us out, people, all the links will be in the description. Probably about 10 minutes after this show's finished live. But if you're watching this tomorrow, it'll all be there. You can become a channel member. You can become a Patreon. Every little helps, people. Or if you whatever you do, you can't do that. Just hit the thumbs up and subscribe. If you made it this far, subscribe. Don't be selfish. Otherwise, you will never see us again.
Yeah.
It's free.
It's free. Also, we do a Rockfin show Thursdays. Yeah, and that is free. Free speech, motherfuckers. Good night. God bless. Mind the bugs don't bite. Alien Addict.
We're going to the village. We have an open invitation.
Io le appuntassi, le veo una persona brilla, de aquí por acá, lo que alumbra no brilla, es alumbra. Y yo así ya casi me pasó el miedo,
Aquí están todos los padres de familia con sus escopetas, señores de la UGEL, a ver qué decisiones toman frente a esta situación que estamos pasando aquí en la comunidad de Buenavista, profesor Jorge Soplín. A ver si puedes apoyar qué es lo que debemos hacer con los estudiantes mayormente, porque estamos corriendo riesgo tanto los estudiantes, los profesores y la comunidad en general.
They can't explain this technology that they've never seen anywhere, because he reinforced the idea that whoever these people are, these beings are, they're able to move, float through the jungle and descend into the air. And so if it is human beings, then they're in possession of technology that is, maybe black operators out there in special operations, maybe they have some sort of jetpack technology that's different than what we see in the commercial sector, that would explain some of this, but certainly doesn't. It does not. There's no relation whatsoever to between commercial jetpack equipment that's on the market today and what's unfolding in this village. I've already established that with these guys. It's not that.
For when the intelligence agencies pick it up, we would love to get paid by you, and there's no need to send any DOE guys or any contractors to our house to make us forget about mentioning it.
4090, 4090.